I've been really exploring the idea of time not being linear. And this video is just an exploration. It's a little bit crazy. Sometimes, like, I'm not even sure all my ideas are really clear because time is really a crazy concept. But anyway, the idea that time is not linear in a way means that everything is just happening now. As they mention, it's like just there is the present moment. That is all. There is no past, there is no future. And so everything is just happening now, always now. And in a way, that means, though, for example, if you believe in past lives, an idea I've been kind of exploring as well, then it means that your past lives and your future lives are actually being lived now. So everything is together. There is no past, there is no future. And I remember when that idea came at the beginning, that really freaked me out and actually brought me a lot of anxiety because the idea of past lives and future lives had brought me a lot of kind of comfort in the past because I just realized that like there was a part of me that was like, oh, well, if I'm not able to live this thing or do this certain thing in this way, or if my life didn't turn out exactly how I had thought it was, then it was okay because either I've lived that in another life or I might be able to live it later. And it brought me a lot of comfort and kind of like made me realize like I could relax into this life and not feel as if it needed to be perfect. Because, like, in a way, I was like, sometimes I would get this anxiety of, like, oh, well, I have to do everything perfectly in this life. But then when I had the idea of past and future lives, I was like, oh, you know what? Let me just enjoy this one life. And if I don't get to do everything or if it doesn't turn out right, that's okay. But then this idea came, this idea that all the lives are happening at the same time, and that completely messed with my brain because it made me actually, that actually brought back the anxiety because all of a sudden I was like, oh my gosh, I'm stuck in this life. I know stuck is maybe not so positive, but that's how I can feel sometimes, especially let's say when things aren't going right and you're like, gosh, I messed this up or I won't be able to do this. And so then all of a sudden I was like, oh my gosh, am I stuck in this life? And then the idea even went further, which is, well, I'm not only stuck in this life, I'm actually stuck in this moment. Maybe me doing this podcast is stuck in this moment doing this podcast. And me going to the dentist a week ago is stuck in the dentist chair getting her teeth cleaned, which was not so fun. And then maybe though there's another me that was on a vacation at the beach and she's stuck there. And there was a part of me that's like, well, I'd rather be stuck at the beach than stuck at the dentist office. And at the same time, that really got me thinking and made me realize, wow, like in a way, I'm always trying to escape. I'm always trying to escape my life. I'm always trying, in a way, even if the idea of past life and future life had brought me a lot of comfort, maybe at a time when I really needed it, it was also a way of escaping. It was also a way of not investing or being like present in my own life or or similarly now I realize that, like, for example, I'm always maybe trying which moment do I want to be present in and which moment do I not want to be present. But this idea is we don't really get to choose, we're just always in a moment. And it made me really have this idea that actually if I am stuck in this moment, then I better start loving this moment, because if it's all I have, then I have to start to get to know it and I have to start to like feel it and feel tender towards it, because otherwise, goodness gracious, my life is going to suck. Kind of like what they're all talking about all the time is that we have to start loving and learning to be in the present moment because it is the only thing that exists, whether you're in the dentist chair or whether you're on the beach. And what I realized though is that in a way, one of the best ways to be able to be present and to be able to make peace with wherever you are, whichever lifetime you are in, whichever moment, present moment you're in, is it's about dealing with your shadows. And it's about feeling and understanding the things that are coming up and not wanting to have shame around them or hide them, because that is what a shadow is. A shadow is everything that we are trying to escape in a way. It's all the things that we're embarrassed about. It's all the things that we have shame about. It's all the things that we try to hide about ourselves. It's the parts of ourselves that we wish we weren't. And in a way, I realized that the best way to be able to learn to live in the present moment and actually accept myself no matter where I am, dentist chair, beach, this life, some other life, is to actually be here now and also accept myself fully. Easier said than done. I get it. But that is actually what I've come to as a conclusion, is that if time is non-linear, the only way to be able to be okay with the present moment is to accept ourselves fully and unconditionally and to love it. The interesting thing, though, is that I've been taking a course, and in this course, one of the things that we've been saying is in this timeline and all other timelines, blah, blah, blah. And it really got me thinking because I realized that by changing something, me, now, I could also be affecting my past and future lives because we're all being lived at the same time, right? And they could also be doing the same thing for me. And that actually gave me a lot of hope because I realized I didn't feel so disconnected, let's say, in my little life. Even if I'm here, stuck in the present moment, I am still connected to all these other lives too. And in a way, I can have access to them without necessarily living them or having to live them, but by the present moment. And it's kind of confusing, but it kind of made sense to me. And I hope it's making sense in this video. So, if you're also grappling with this idea of nonlinear time and grappling with this idea of trying to also be acceptant of where you are and who you are right now in the present moment, exactly as you are, I picked some cards for us. One just popped out while I was thinking about how can we learn to love the present moment, our present life, and even as I mentioned, like the moment that we're in. And we got the Son of Cups. And the Knight of Cups, normally the Son of Cups, is a card that talks about really feeling your feelings and kind of like rushing into them, letting yourself feel things. And what I'm getting here is that in a way, the best way to love yourself now and your life and the present moment and wherever you are is to really lean into your feelings, whatever they are, good, bad, sad, happy, angry, frustrated, all of the emotions. We tend to value different ones in different ways and put some on pedestals and others, we try to avoid. And again, I think this is linked to our shadow side and letting ourselves basically feel the things that come up, even the shame, even the things that we're scared of or fearful of or want to hide. Feel them, but let ourselves feel them fully. Stop trying to hide things. Stop being ashamed of things. Stop trying to repress, ways that you are. Because I realize that's why I want to escape. Because there's parts of me that I don't like. There's things about myself I don't like. There's things I want to change. And each time I escape those things and try to run away from them or hope that in another life they just won't happen or I'd be somebody else completely, well, those things are still going to be there. And those are my shadow things that I need to work on and address by feeling them. So, my idea with this is one of the best ways to love ourselves completely is to really lean into ourselves, our feelings, all of them, even the ones we're trying to hide, even the ones we're trying to escape. Because when we can do that, I do feel like there is this kind of like peace that comes with us, and that we no longer are trying to escape or change or hide parts of ourselves. Easier said than done, I get it. But I do find that that's when we would start to love the present moment more. I also think there's a clue here, though, because this card is sometimes called the romantic. And I do find that one of the ways that you can really start loving your life is to start romanticizing your life and making sure that you feel like you're the main character of your life. I've seen that in other posts otherwhere, that you start being your main character and that you act that way. If you were the center of a movie, instead of feeling like you're the participant or life isn't going your way or things like that, or this isn't the life you want to live, or this isn't even the moment, how can you make this moment be romantic and fun? I also think there's one last clue in this is that you see that cat is just taking things from the cup, bringing and finding beauty and love and hearts from the cup. And to me, I'm getting here is that it's just important to, in the moment, wherever you are in your present life, in the present moment, the present thing that you're doing is to look around and see where it is there is a heart you can pull. And I find that that's linked to gratitude and starting to see the little things. But for that, you have to start to notice things and actually be on the lookout. And I know for myself that has really been a game changer. when I started really practicing gratitude, and at the end of the day, writing 3 things, but then more and more having it just come naturally, like in the moment, be like, wow, that's so pretty. I'm so grateful for that. It really starts changing the present moment because I start noticing that there are things in every moment that are beautiful if you pay attention to them. So recently, for example, I've been just noticing the clouds, and I'm like, wow, those clouds right now at this precise moment will never be ever again like that. And let's say we're at the dentist where it's a little harder to do that. I don't know. Maybe it's about looking at something and finding beauty there. I know when I was at the dentist, I was just realizing that the lights and everything was really reminding me of my childhood, even if it's like weird and fluorescent. But there was something about it that was reminding me of even safety I could feel when I was in places like that when I was younger. And so I was maybe thinking that's how you can tune into that so that you can try your best, even if you're at the dentist office, to find beauty because it might be the only moment that you're really living. There is always something to find, always some hearts to look for if you can turn your attention to that. So I think that's another beautiful lesson from that card. And then when this card came up, this one almost made me want to cry because this card came from a message of love, a message of encouragement for this moment, for learning to be able to be in the present moment and to love it. And we got the Four of Wands. And the Four of Wands talks about homecoming and celebration. And what I love is seeing, compared to this one where there's just one little cat, there's like this whole family, this whole kind of like tribe that comes from the Four of Wands. And it's like this homecoming. And when you get into the present moment, I think that there is a homecoming. When you feel at home, wherever you are, whichever life you are, but also whichever moment you are, because it's all happening at the same time. There is kind of this moment of feeling so connected with yourself. But I also have this feeling that it's also linked. We're linked to all the other past and future lives, past and future moments. And what I see here is the family of me's. All these different parts make up a whole, whether it be in this lifetime, whether it be the person at the dentist, the person at the beach. Together they are connected, and there is some celebration and there is some kind of like community there, even if maybe we feel separate. Similarly with me and my other past lives or future lives, even though we're all living in our own present moments, there is this kind of moment where we are together. And that's what I was talking about also when we connect to the other people that we are, the other present moments, even if we're living in our present moment, if we can connect to our present moment, I also think that we can have this impact and get impacted by the others. And so if we're living our best present moment, it will have a ripple effect for others. And similarly, when they're living their best present moment, it will have another ripple effect on me. This present moment is so important to do it right and to love it and to live it and to be present in it so that we can actually connect to the other present moments in all the other lives at all the other time frames. This is all very confusing. Even as I'm saying it, I'm realizing sometimes it can feel so confusing even for myself. But I do see how this made me feel really sometimes, like for example, as I was mentioning before, I can maybe feel more alone in my life and think, goodness, if I'm like stuck here in the present moment forever, like there's this kind of like anxiety that comes to me. Whereas this makes me feel much more supported. And I'm realizing that like there is a connection, even if maybe I'm in one present moment forever, there is still a connection. It is a little confusing. I got a little confused there at the end, but I hope that if you're kind of grappling with this idea of nonlinear time and past lives, future lives all being lived at the same time, I hope that these 2 cards have given you a little bit of guidance and some love and some wisdom there. And I am sending you so much love and so much laughter as we explore this. And thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next video.